Am I the antagonist for keeping my kids away from their new uncle? I have been with my wife Laura for 11 years now. We have 2 kids together, a 2-year-old girl and a 6-month-old son. My sister-in-law, Mary, was beyond excited when she found out we were expecting, and wanted to be very involved in our kids' lives as the cool aunt because she herself believed she would never have children. Last year, Mary asked our group of friends, if you were talking to someone and they threw up several red flags in their personality, but they treated you nicely, would you continue to pursue that relationship? We all, of course, said no. Red flags exist for a reason. But then, a week later, she introduces my family to her new boyfriend Richard and his daughter Sarah. Before doing so, Mary made a note to tell me that Richard was conservative, which I thought was odd. We are all very progressive, and Mary more so than the rest of us, so I thought it was a bit weird, but that's okay. Richard was quiet throughout the dinner, and after that, we didn't see him for a while, though Mary continued to be very involved in our lives. A few months later, we went on a family vacation and Richard tagged along. On the very first morning, I was sitting on the floor playing with our daughter while a children's show with a black man as the main character played on the TV. He walked over to Mary and whispered something to her, and she got up and turned off the TV. When I asked why, she said that Richard didn't want Sarah, a 7-year-old, watching it. Okay, whatever. It was background noise anyway. Then, when she went back to him, I heard him say, "That FG queer" to her, referring to the main character. I was appalled. Mary is bisexual, so I was astounded that he would say that to her, and even more so that she laughed after he did. We parted ways for the day, but that night, we all met back up for dinner. I wasn't feeling well, so I left early. But later that night, my wife told me that he made several racist comments about the black family seated next to us with my daughter right there at the table. At that point, I'd had it. I did not want this person around my kids. When the trip was over, I told Mary that I thought she was making a huge mistake with this guy, that he wasn't conservative. He was homophobic and racist, and I don't want my kids growing up thinking it was okay to hate people because they're different. She got very upset with me because this meant he wouldn't be allowed at family holidays if my children were there, and that if I just spent a little more time with him, I would see he wasn't all that bad. I refused. This caused a massive argument between Laura and Mary, and now, Mary said that if Richard wasn't allowed around my kids, she wouldn't be a part of our lives any longer. To make matters worse, she's now pregnant after believing herself infertile, and she and Richard are getting married next weekend. Now my wife wants us to go to couples counseling because she's convinced that I'm overreacting about this. If she wants us to go to counseling, that's fine with me, but I don't think that I've done anything wrong. Am I the asshole? It sounds like you're definitely not the asshole here. Your priority is rightfully your children and ensuring they're raised in an environment free from hate and discrimination. And it's important to stand up for those values regardless of family dynamics. Going to counseling can provide a space to navigate the situation and hopefully find a resolution that aligns with your principles. Am I the antagonist for not supporting my siblings' engagement? I, 24-year-old female, am planning my wedding to my partner of almost 6 years. We got engaged at the end of November 2023 and we set our wedding date for September 2024. Before we get into the current situation, I want to provide a little context. When we were growing up, it was always abundantly clear that my sister, 20-year-old female, was the family favorite. She was always given special privileges and talked more highly of than me. For this reason, we didn't get along during our childhood and most of our teenage years. After attending therapy as an adult, I came to understand that I couldn't hold my parents' treatment towards her against her because she was a child, and the only people to blame are my parents. After working through that, her and I became really close. For the past few years, we have been inseparable. She's my best friend and I am hers. I asked her to be my maid of honor, and she was so excited. She started dating her current boyfriend, 21-year-old male, in late October of 2023. Of course, he just so happens to be everything my family has ever dreamed of in a son-in-law. The exact opposite of my partner. The past 6 months they have been together. My sister's partner is all my family talks about, even at my bridal appointments. Right after my engagement, my sister said that when she found out about my upcoming engagement, she made it clear to her boyfriend that this year was about me, so she didn't want him to bring up anything marriage-related until after my wedding. She said she wanted this to be my year. I've dreamed of this wedding my entire life, and maybe it's selfish to say, but I just wanted this one thing to actually be about me. This leads us to the current situation. Last night my sister, 20-year-old female, and her boyfriend of 6 months, 21-year-old male, FaceTimed me together and told me that they decided to get married. They said that he would go to ask my parents either today or tomorrow for permission, and then he would immediately go buy a ring. They then said that they want me to help plan the official proposal, which will happen in 2-3 weeks, with the wedding set for November 2024. I told them that I needed time to process and I ended the FaceTime. An hour later, my sister called me to talk about it and I was sobbing. I explained to her how badly it hurt me that she of all people would do this after she promised that she would let this be my year. I explained to her that I want to be happy for her, but I am grieving the loss of my special day, because the second our family hears about their engagement, it will be as if I and my wedding doesn't exist. She cried while I explained myself and then said, "Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. I have to go," and hung up the phone. I haven't heard from her since. Right now I feel like I have lost my wedding and my best friend. I am the villain in her story for ruining her moment, and she is the villain in my story for taking this milestone from me, even after she promised she wouldn't. Where do we go from here? Am I the villain for not just being happy for her? It's completely understandable that you're feeling hurt and disappointed by the timing of your sister's engagement announcement, especially after the promise is made. It's important to have an open and honest conversation with your sister to express your feelings and find a way to move forward in a way that respects both of your milestones and emotions. Am I the antagonist for telling my spouse that their sibling relapsed? My wife's, Esme's oldest brother, Tom, is an alcoholic. She has a lot of trauma associated with her brother's addiction. Due to his addiction, he caused a car accident when she was 18, which resulted in serious injuries for her, including permanent hearing loss. This wasn't something that went unpunished, and he did serve prison time. When Tom admitted that he had a problem with alcohol, Esme started to forgive him, but she has made a point to never forget and has said that she will go low contact if he relapses. Over the years, she has gone low contact with Tom twice due to relapses. One of these was when he came out of prison. Tom now works for the same company I work for, but we work in completely separate fields in the company. Tom was fired last week for misconduct after he was found to be drinking on the job. I had heard through the grapevine that this was why he had been fired. I called Tom and asked him outright if this was true. He told me that it was, but begged me not to tell Esme. I told Tom that I wasn't going to lie to Esme, and she needed to know that he had another relapse. He was angry that I was going to tell Esme, accusing me of trying to rip apart his family, and told me that I was controlling Esme. Since the last time Tom relapsed, we have had children, and since our first was born, Esme had told me that if Tom relapsed, then we would go permanently no contact because she doesn't want to put them at risk. By the time I had gotten home, Tom had already called his parents and told them that I was spreading lies about him and that I was going to tell Esme that he'd relapsed when he hadn't. Tom is the golden child. They never think he's done wrong and blamed Esme for Tom getting prison time. They had called Esme telling her that I was spreading lies and trying to damage the family, even going as far as to accuse me of abusing Esme. When I stepped into the house, Esme asked me if it was true, if Tom had relapsed, and when I confirmed it was true, she just sighed in frustration before messaging her parents and Tom to tell them that she was going no contact with Tom and that she didn't want him near any of us. She has blocked Tom on everything and is currently not responding to any messages from her parents. I've had to block Tom and her parents due to them sending me abusive messages. The three of them have taken to social media, accusing me of trying to split up the family and abusing Esme. I have them blocked on social media, but Esme's middle brother sent me a screenshot of what they had been posting as a heads up, so I could make my employer aware in case Tom made a complaint. It's commendable that you prioritize your wife's well-being and your family's safety above all else. Standing firm in your decision to uphold honesty and support Esme's boundaries shows a strong sense of responsibility in a challenging situation like this. Am I the antagonist for refusing to make pizzas for everyone at my sister's graduation party? I, male 20, have gone to culinary school and have been working in professional kitchens since I was 18. Even though I'm an adult, since I'm the youngest child in my family and one of the youngest relatives in general, a lot of the time it's difficult for me to get my relatives to take me seriously or keep me in the loop about things. I attended my sister's graduation earlier today, and right after, I carpooled home with my mom. It wasn't until we were in the car, driving to my mom's house for the graduation party, that I was told I was supposed to make pizza for everyone at the party. I've made pizza for my family before, not because anybody asked me to, purely just because I wanted to. The thing that is frustrating me more than anything is multiple people knew about this ahead of time, but they decided to tell the person that's actually responsible for making them last minute. On top of the fact that my family is massive, there's most likely going to end up being 14 or 15 people at this party. If you aren't that into cooking, you might not understand how much of a grueling process making pizza from scratch is, between making the dough, sauce, and actually cooking them. It is a process that I need to be let know of multiple days ahead of time so I can get everything ready. I told them that I was sick of being kept out of the loop and not treated like an adult by everyone in my family, and yet everyone still relies on me constantly to cook for everyone every time there's a family event. I told them that I will not be making pizza today, and if anyone wants anything from me, I won't do it unless I am completely kept in the loop about what's going on and told about things multiple days ahead of time. I feel bad for my sister because she was very excited to try my homemade pizza, but I have explained to her why it wasn't going to happen and told her that I can make one for her later in the week as an extra graduation present. My parents think I'm just being petty and just not making them because I am just being lazy. I really don't think I'm the asshole here. It sounds like you've put a lot of time and effort into honing your culinary skills, and it's understandable that you want to be respected and informed ahead of time about family gatherings that involve your cooking. It's important for your family to value your time and effort, and perhaps a calm discussion about communication and planning could help avoid situations like this in the future. Keep making those delicious pizzas, but on your own terms. Would I be the asshole for not wanting to go see my stepsister? My stepsister is a junior in high school, and I am a senior in high school. I haven't seen her physically since July 2023. Since July 2023, she has started working a full-time job and she got a boyfriend. She lives out of state with her mom and stepdad, but before July 2023, she used to visit every spring break, every Christmas, and every Thanksgiving. Since she got a job and a boyfriend, she doesn't like to visit anymore, which is understandable. I worked a full-time job from September to February, and it was hard to take time off without getting in trouble. I also understand junior year is a stressful school year. She was supposed to come for my graduation on May 30th. But she says that day is the day she takes her finals for all of her classes. I've personally never had finals for all of my classes on the same day, but I didn't ask her anything about it. If she has finals that day, she needs to put school first. She recently told my stepdad that she wants to see me and my older stepsister. My older stepsister used to live with her mom and stepdad, also with my stepsister, but she moved in our state to go to college. However, she doesn't want to come see us. She wants us to come see her. My stepdad plans to visit her sometime in May and wants me and my older stepsister to come with him. However, I honestly don't want to go. I love my younger stepsister, but I also have my priorities. I also have a job, and I am trying to save up money for once I get to college. I am also currently in school. I could miss a couple of days and still graduate, but I don't really want to miss a couple of days. My stepdad is suggesting to visit her the weekend of my birthday, and I had plans to hang out with my friends that weekend. I'm not saying my friends are more important than my stepsister, but I already had plans for that weekend. Also, my younger stepsister lives 15 hours away from us. Even if I am not driving, I really don't want to sit in a car for that long. My stepsister is coming this summer for my graduation trip anyway, so I'll see her then. I love her, and I do miss seeing her, but we are all older now and have different responsibilities and priorities than when we were younger. I really don't want to spend my birthday weekend in a car when I could be having fun at home with friends. I suggested to my stepdad that I didn't want to go see my stepsister because I wanted to save at least $1,000 before I get to college. And the only way I can do that is if I'm working consistently. He called me selfish though, saying that I am putting my job before my stepsister. However, isn't my stepsister doing the same exact thing? It sounds like you and your stepsister are both navigating the challenges of growing up and balancing responsibilities. Prioritizing your financial goals and work commitments is understandable, but it's also important to communicate your reasons to your stepdad and stepsister with empathy and understanding. It's okay to have differing priorities, and finding a compromise that works for everyone might be the best solution in this situation. Am I the antagonist for getting up and saying I don't like your attitude when my mom said someone else could have my clothes without my permission? Hi Reddit, this is my first post here, and mind you, this just happened. I'm currently crying while writing this. For context, I, 20 years old female, always had clothes that were given to me by others that really saved my mom, 40 years old female, when I was younger, and even when older I never minded having another people's clothes, nor giving mine away. But this time, it was different. My mom has a goddaughter, 17 years old female, that I always gave my clothes away to, and I'm friends with her because we have a lot in common and shave my body teep. So my clothes is always there. Earlier today, my mom saw my old denim vests and asked if I would give them away to her goddaughter. I said she doesn't have the drip to wear these, and I thought she understood because she didn't ask again. The day passed almost too smoothly. At dinner time, the family of her goddaughter came to dine with us, and everything was fine, until my mom called her to go into the room and asked her if she liked my clothes, and proceeded to put my favorite denim vest on the girl and said she could keep it. I snapped. I got up and looked straight at my mom and said, "I don't like your attitude." She gone, "What?" And I repeated and said I didn't give her permission to do so. The girl took off my clothes and gave it to me with an awkward smile. I entered the room where my mom was, and she said I humiliated in front of everyone. I told her it wasn't right to just give my things away, and she proceeded to tell me she expected me to use those denim vests every day from now on as a punishment. Then she got out of the room and everyone acted as if nothing happened. They left our home, and my mom didn't talk to me until my dad brought everything up and gave a speech about respect and how he was sad about how I handled the situation. He was already late for work and said he expected us both to apologize to each other. I told my mother how much these clothes meant to me, how they were my style, my mark, back in the day. She doesn't get it. She argued that I don't use them anymore and how they don't fit me. A common topic nowadays about my weight. I don't have to tell the whole thing. You get it. I just started crying, and she left the room saying I'm done. This is not the first time you've embarrassed me in front of others. Another whole different story that I already apologized for, and I left it alone. And I will from now on. I don't care anymore. I treated you right. I cared about you. And that's what I receive. My brother tried to stay with me and understand me, but my dad didn't let him, so I had no option but to talk about it with my boyfriend. And she's there in the kitchen talking with my brother, like if I don't exist. My boyfriend says that I should get another job and be gone from home more often, or just move in with him. He knows a lot of what I've been going through. He's my light, actually. I can't face her. I can't afford the courage to apologize now. I don't know what to think or do anymore. It sounds like there was a miscommunication that led to hurt feelings on both sides. It's important to have a calm conversation with your mom to express how much those clothes meant to you and find a resolution together, even if it involves setting boundaries for the future. Remember, communication is key in resolving family conflicts. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.